Hey guys, this video is my official announcement that I've created a secondary channel for the purpose of providing a platform for one-on-one debates between Globe and Flat Earthers, although other topics besides Flat Earth will be welcomed. I want to get the message out and give everyone some background on why I've decided to do it, and also to give a rough overview of the guidelines that I intend to apply on the channel. So I've often considered hosting the occasional open panel or somewhere for people to debate when I witness certain exchanges in comments. I've offered to host individual debates between people on a rare occasion. The recent attempt to organise a live debate with the troll Andy Murr is an example of that. It came about because I kept seeing Andy posing in the comments, goading people to debate him and then bragging that he'd scared people away because they wouldn't face him. In particular, he had an obsession with Craig, aka Fight the Flat Earth. But when he was challenged, Andy refused to go on to the Non Sequitur show and be a part of a dumpster fire style situation where he was outnumbered by moderators who also joined in the verbal assaults. I wanted Andy to provide more than hot air, so I laid down the gauntlet, so to speak, and offered to be the host of a debate between himself and Craig, and I also offered to allow him to invite a second Flat Earther to make things fair, because obviously, as I was hosting it, I was a second Glober. Now Andy was a troll, but he isn't the only one who has those kind of misgivings and criticisms of Non-Sec or similar channels hosted by Globe Earthers such as Red's Rhetoric, Fight the Flat Earth and so on. And it isn't just from the Flat Earthers that we're hearing these kind of misgivings. On the flip side, no one in their right mind is going to attempt to have a serious discussion in a Flat Earth echo chamber like Nathan Oakley's ironically named Flat Earth debate, and similarly unwelcoming and abusive channels where the mute button reigns supreme and the goal is to generate lulls for the audience. Even when taking part in a debate on someone else's channel, Anthony Riley, for example, will dual stream and has to mute his opponent on his own stream for an unfair advantage in front of his audience. It's really a bit of a farce, and most people at least end up complaining that there is nowhere neutral to go. I've seen a lot of people go through this process of arguing in the comments and live chats, challenging each other to debate, and then nothing happening because no one can agree on a mutual arena for the debate to actually take place due to these kind of problems. In some cases, it may just be an excuse to avoid confrontation, but there's also good reason to avoid such platforms, and I can understand why. Now that Jose Gonzalez is hosting an open panel, there's a friendly open platform for anyone to join, but as good as it is to have that kind of open dialogue, it doesn't lend itself well to more individual discussions, and it can sometimes get out of hand. So this is the idea, to host a platform where two people can have a moderated debate or discussion without all the drama and the interruptions. Arguably, no one can be completely unbiased, but it is possible to be fair, to apply the same ground rules to both parties and to avoid constant interruptions by trying to take part. So that's the aim, and I hope some people will take advantage of that and we can get some interesting exchanges to take place. Now with that in mind, I want to go over some general guidelines for taking part so everybody knows what to expect. There will be a 3-strike rule employed. What this means is that if somebody crosses a line by breaking the guidelines in some excessive manner, that will earn them a strike, and if they do this enough times to earn 3 strikes, they will be kicked from the hangout and the debate will end. In anticipation of the way certain people behave, accusations of sexual misconduct, especially involving minors, will get you kicked immediately. Accusing your opponent of other types of misconduct, such as porn bombing, will require some backup with evidence, or you will be kicked. Now, more generally speaking, open dialogue is encouraged. Conversation should be natural, but some moderation will be employed to prevent, for example, gish gallop or endless arguments from incredulity, such as seen from Jeren when he's asked to provide evidence for Flat Earth. Swearing occasionally, either just by slipping up or through some frustration, is absolutely fine. I come from a place where swearing is a natural part of everyday language, but every attempt should be made to remain civil, so excessive swearing will be cautioned and outright verbal assaults will lead to a strike. Now I will, as much as possible, stay out of the conversation, but I'll mute both parties and interject whenever those kind of situations arise. There are other times when it might happen, and that could include, for example, repeated refusal to answer questions, answering questions with questions, which is sometimes valid but not as a means to continually avoid proper discussion, quote mining and cherry picking. In a globe versus flat debate, constant attacks on the globe without supporting flat earth evidence. Repetition of memes and Judaisms, especially if they're rhymed off one after the other without any actual supporting detail for the claims that they're actually making. Unreasonable expectations of evidence, because at the end of the day we're all lay people on the internet, so sometimes some of the demands that you hear being made are really just ridiculous and they're never going to be met. Similarly, one-sided demands for a much higher level of evidence than is actually being provided. Goalpost shifting, equivocation, and generally evasive behaviour. Any and all of these examples can just as easily be seen and dealt with by the opponents themselves during the debate, but sometimes it might be necessary to point it out, and if either party feels this is happening, they can ask me to step in and I'll decide if it's warranted to caution someone. Now, on the day, things can change, conversation is fluid and unpredictable, but that's a general framework of the kind of generally sort of disingenuous behaviour that I hope to avoid as much as possible. As I've stated on the channel description, availability is subject to my time zone, which is GMT, and my work schedule, so anyone who wants to make use of the platform will have to contact me via email, or you can leave a message on a video on my main channel, in order to arrange a suitable time for all parties to be available. If you're one of those people who finds themselves in this situation, or if you like the idea and want to see some debates take place on the new channel, then please head over there and subscribe to give me an idea of the level of interest for the idea of running this new channel. If you're someone who wishes to participate, please let me know. If you have a specific opponent in mind, let both of us know so we can set something up. If you don't have a specific opponent in mind and would just like to make yourself available to speak to random opponents on the channel looking for a discussion, let me know that as well. A modified version of this video will be posted on the debate channel. Once that is available, you can comment under that video or email me on alkythang@gmail.com, which reads as alkythang, but another way to remember it is it's alk, YT for YouTube and hang for Hangouts, so alk YouTube Hangouts. And that will let me know you're interested in taking part or setting up a debate with someone. Finally, while the primary focus is flat versus globe, I'm open to hosting debates on other subjects. For example, you might be a quote-unquote glober, but also an anti-vaxxer and would like to discuss the merits of vaccination with another glober who supports them, which is something I see cropping up quite a lot at the moment. All that matters is, if you want it, the platform is here and I will host if you want to make use of it. Maybe it's all a big waste of time and nobody will bother, but I do want to try and give it a shot and see if we can make a place where people are actually more willing to talk. If you think this is worth the effort, then please help out by sharing the channel and letting other people know about it. Okay, so that's really it, so I will leave it at that. As I say, if you think it's something that's worthwhile, do what you can to let other people know, and thank you for listening.